how thankful we are. And I pass it on to you because that's you. Without your prayers, without your visits, and without your money, we couldn't do a thing. We couldn't do a thing. I mean, we're willing and we've gone and we've done what we can do, but the bottom line is you are the motor that drives the car that is Mission Expanded in Nicaragua because of your prayers, because of your visits, and because of your giving. And I just want to let you know that influence is not lost. That influence is getting bigger and bigger almost on a weekly basis. I want to tell you that when these floods started about a month and a half ago or so, it became apparent that we had to do something at the mission. Our town doesn't have a fire department or a rescue squad. We have policemen. We have no kind of police vehicle other than one motorcycle. We have no preparations whatsoever for any sort of accident or natural disaster. Our town does have one ambulance. Most of the time it's not working. And even so, it's not equipped. It has a bed inside, and that's all it has. And we had, one night it started to rain very hard, and I was laying in bed awake, and I was thinking, you know, if this rain is different than the other rains, I think we're going to have a bad experience with this rain. And it was 10 o'clock at night, and I remember, and I opened the door of my room, and those of you who've been, I'm talking about the back door, and I looked down in the ditch, and the ditch was 3/4 full with water that was running very hard. And I began to pray, and I thought to myself, something bad is going to happen tonight, but I don't know where it's going to happen, so I guess all I can do is sit here and pray. So I went back into my room and I laid down and I had my arms crossed like this. I don't know why. I worked in the funeral business for 2 years. Maybe it's just habit. And that's how I got through seminary, was working in the funeral business. And I had my arms crossed like that. And my eyes were wide awake. And Pablo was there and I could hear him. And Tanya was over there on her side of the bed. And I just was praying to the Lord. And pretty soon I heard a tap on the door. And they came and got me and they said, we need help right now. And my guys were out of bed because the tap had occurred on the front door, and they made it to our door. And I got up, and there was a young man screaming. He said, there's a family trapped in a mango tree down in the river. And he said, we haven't got any ropes. We haven't got anything to use to rescue them. And the river is going up, and they're going to die. And I looked at him, and I said, we're going to get some ropes. And we got on the truck, and we took off to every possible place in our village that would have ropes, and no one had any ropes. And finally, I said, guys, we've got to find a rope. And we made it to one more store, and I banged on the door. It's now 11 o'clock at night, and the lady came to the door, and I said, I need all the rope you have, and I need it right now. And she said, what's wrong? And I said, there's a family trapped in the mango tree on the other side of town, and the river's rising, and they're stuck, and including an 82-year-old man and a 4-year-old boy, and we have to go right now. And she said, take it all. And I said, how much do I use? She said, later. And we went down there, and I watched my guys in one of the scariest moments of my life, and I've been in some scary moments. I watched them float out with that rope into a raging river that probably was going 40 miles an hour, that was up 15 to 20 feet, and I could shine my light over there, and I could see that family screaming in the mango tree. And I could hear the voice, just barely hear the voice of a 4-year-old boy, bearing in mind I've got one that's going to turn 3. And I thought to myself, we had got to do this. We were in an area that normally is a banana plantation, and it was up to our chest. And we kept going out and going out and going out and going out. And for those of you who know Wilmer was one of the main guys who went out and crossed that river and brought those people across that raging river. And when the 4-year-old came across, somehow in the excitement of the moment, they didn't get his knot tied correctly, and he came off the line and he fell into the river. And all of us screamed and all of us jumped, and I jumped, and thank God I was tied to a rope, and they pulled me back, and another policeman fell in and began to sink, and they were able to pull him out, and thank God somebody was able to get to the 4-year-old and pull him in. And just at that moment, the Nicaraguan Army Civil Defense showed up, and the Red Cross from Rigalpa, which is about an hour from us, showed up. And they called a meeting at the head of the Communist Party's house that night. And I went to that meeting, and they said, we don't know what we're going to do. We're seeing flooding here like we have never seen in the history of our country. And I said, I don't know what you're going to do, but I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to Managua, and I'm going to buy every single piece of emergency equipment I can find. And I'm going to call people at home and send emails at home, and I'm going to beg these people to pay for this because they won't understand what's happening here. There is no 911. There is nobody coming to help you. We're it. And the mayor looked at me, and the head of civil defense looked at me, and the head of the Red Cross looked at me, and they said, you know what? If you don't do it, we don't know who will. And so we went and we began to buy all of this rope that'll hold 7,000 pounds of weight, and special ropes for water rescue, and the best stuff we could buy in Managua, although it's really not the best stuff here in America. There's so much more available. And so many kinds of things. And we have spent the last month and a half, 2 or 3 times a week, getting called out to low areas, pulling families out of their homes, pulling families off of rooftops, pulling families out of trees, and well over 150 people have been rescued in direct rescue by the mission. I don't mean in a spiritual sense, I mean in a physical sense. Hundreds of people have been fed and clothed because of you. Hundreds of people have been put in temporary shelters. Hundreds of people we have taken doctors into villages that have stayed flooded for days. We have taken the doctors across the ropes through the water with harnesses and all kinds of stuff. We've sent hundreds of pounds of food in. We've sent hundreds of medications over those ropes, everything like that. And I want you to know how much of that you're a part of. Because we couldn't do that if you weren't backing us up.